Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Monday. And look, today the Aussie market didn't do much. So we started the session down by roughly 0.5%, and then we were treading water for most of the session before just flicking into positive territory to end the day, ending higher by roughly 6 points to 8,953 points. That was still enough to snap a couple of sessions of declines. And of course, this follows US-Iran tensions resurfacing over the weekend after a very brief window of around 12 hours where the Strait of Hormuz was reopened before being closed again as tensions picked back up. Now, at this stage, the US has said it's sending negotiators to Pakistan for renewed talks tonight. However, Iran has said it will not show up for the talks as it vows to retaliate after its cargo ships were attacked and seized by the United States. So we will have to wait and see what happens on that front tonight, as it could potentially move markets. Now, across the different sectors, it was quite a mixed bag. We did see energy doing worse, despite oil prices jumping by around 7% and reversing a near 10% drop from the previous session as tensions flared up. But as I said, the energy sector not doing too well today, but keep in mind, of course, it did do extraordinarily well over the course of last month. Miners and financials were almost completely flat, two of our largest sectors, while consumer sectors and real estate did well in today's session, lifting between 1 and 1.5%. Now, looking at the winners list, Zip topped that list after receiving several target price lifts today, extending Friday's solid gains following its positive outlook update in its quarterly results. Life360 extended its winning streak to a fifth straight session, but tech stocks more broadly, including Life360, have of course been under pressure for most of this year, so its share price is still down 33% in year-to-date terms. Wesfarmers helped to prop up the consumer discretionary space, and CBA partially offset some other declines in the sector, but NAB, however, was the biggest weight in the financial space after saying it expects credit impairment charges to come in at $706 million in the first half due to risks in the market caused by the conflict in the Middle East. So you can see its share price fell by roughly 3.5% today. Viva Energy actually came back online after a 2-day trading halt following a major fire at its Geelong refinery last week. The company said in the short term, its Geelong refinery expects to be producing diesel and jet fuel at approximately 80% of capacity and petrol at approximately 60%, but expects to lift production to more than 90% over the next few weeks. And it also highlighted that it has sufficient fuel stocks to cover the reduced production. But it was the worst performer on the ASX 200 index today, but again, it was the best performer over the course of last month. And Monash IVF rejected a revised takeover approach from a consortium backed by private equity firm Genesis Capital and investment group Soul Patts, saying the proposal undervalues the business. Now, over to currencies, the Aussie dollar is buying 71.6 US cents, and it's firmer against the other currencies as well. Looking ahead to tonight, US futures are looking like they're going to start off on a rough path. Futures pointing down by between 0.6 and 0.7%. Of course, it's going to be really coming down to any updates out of the US-Iran situation that could potentially move markets over the course of tonight. And then locally, tomorrow we'll get a number of quarterly updates on the local front from the likes of Yancoal, Hub24, Rio Tinto, Lynas, Atlas Arteria, Challenger, and also Stockland. Have a nice night.